Welcome to our LATAMPaper July 25th. Hope you like it. The topics we are going to talk this month are Latin America's economy and tariffs opportunities.
The U.S. tariffs implemented in 2025, including a 10% baseline tariff on most Latin American countries, possible 50% on Brazil, and sector-specific tariffs, 25% on steel, aluminum, and auto parts, 17% on Mexican tomatoes, create both challenges and opportunities for Latin American economies. While these tariffs raise export costs and risk reducing trade volumes, they push countries like Brazil and Mexico to diversify markets, targeting China, the EU, and intra-regional partners. Brazil's potential to supply rare earths and agricultural goods to China offer a buffer. However, a projected global economic slowdown in 2025, with GDP growth at 2.3% and declining commodity prices, poses risks to export-dependent nations, particularly if China's demand weakens. Latin America can capitalize on nearshoring, as Mexico attracts manufacturing investment due to its proximity to the U.S., and on China's $9.2 billion credit and infrastructure projects like Peru's Chanquete megaport to boost trade competitiveness. Brazil and Argentina can leverage the Mercosur-EU agreement and Pacific Alliance to reduce U.S. reliance, while Chile and Colombia negotiate exemptions for critical commodities like copper and oil. Global economic demand in the next semester will face subdued growth, with global GDP projected to expand at a modest 2.3%, the weakest in 17 years outside recession periods, driven by U.S. tariffs. 10% on most Latin American countries, a possible 50% on Brazil, 145% on China, 20% on the EU, and a slowing Chinese economy. 5.4% GDP growth in Q1 2025. These tariffs will disrupt trade flows, reducing demand for commodities like oil and metals, while a weak U.S. dollar and declining commodity prices further dampen export-driven economies in Latin America and Asia. However, opportunities arise from trade diversion, with Latin America redirecting agricultural and energy exports to China and the European Union, and nearshoring boosting manufacturing in Mexico and Southeast Asia. Geopolitical tensions and supply chain realignments will challenge resilience, but strategic trade partnerships could mitigate impacts.
Containerboard. Global demand remains soft, but Latin America stands out on optimism around a strong agro season. South America should see the sharpest lift in agrobox demand, while Mexico faces only marginal drag from tomato tariffs. Industrial box consumption is sluggish. June price hikes in Mexico are being eroded by aggressive European and Asian meal offers. Central America shows the lowest recycled grade prices observed. Weak broad demand and import pressure point to a downward price bias through the second semester. Pulp. China's quiet ramp-up of domestic pulp capacity is displacing import tons, hitting South American producers first. Just as Northern Hemisphere demand cools for the summer lull, Europe effectively goes dark for approx 30 days, magnifying the dip. Yucca pulp is visibly oversupplied across markets and starting to relocate tonnage strategically away from China.
Thank you for watching. See you soon.